Drake is one of those artists that's generational. His versatility alone is crazy. But if we're talking about R&B Drake, that's a whole different bag. Because when he leans into R&B, it's not just singing Drake, it's a mood Drake. He's mastered that late night sound, minimal drums, warm chords, space in the mix, and melodies that feel like conversations. The writing is simple but specific. Real life lines, real life emotions, so the record feels personal even when it's huge. That's why his R&B cuts hit the way they do. They're built on texture, pockets, and emotion, not just vocals. So in this tutorial, I'm gonna break down how to make that kind of vibe. From the chord choices and sound selection, to the drum bounce, the melody layers, and the mix tricks that make it feel dark, smooth, and expensive. By the end, we'll have a Drake-inspired R&B loop that actually sounds like it belongs in that lane. Let's get into it. What's good, YouTube? Now, first things first, this melody is a little bit complicated, so I'm gonna try to explain it as basic as I can. But first things first, let's jump into the chord progression. And it's very simple. As y'all can see, my chord progressions are always very simple. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and play it for y'all. Right, very simple. And how I went about doing it is, let me explain it as basic as I can. As I said before, how I went about doing it is I started off with triads first, right? So I'm in the scale of G sharp minor, and what I did was I built a triad. And what that is basically 3 notes within a chord, right? So how I did that was I placed a note in the scale, and then I skipped one within the scale, and then I place another. And this chord progression right here is basically built off of 7ths and 9ths, nothing too crazy. So how you get a 7th is simple. All you got to do is skip another one after you build your triad within the scale, and then place a note on top, right? So now you have something like this. Right, very simple. Nothing too complicated, very simple. And with R&B, you got to keep it like this. And there's things like diminished chords and stuff, but we're not going to get into that as I barely used any. And how I did the other chord is the same thing as how I did the last chord, which is another 7th. And I did that because it transitions smoothly as a descaling pattern. I did some passing notes as well, but those are very basic. Anybody can do that. But how I did this up here, the embellishments up here, was I pressed shift to copy it over, and then I placed it where I want. And then that's when I press Alt S, right? Alt S to strum it. I accept it after I strummed it a little bit, and then I pitched it up twice, right? So then it'll go like this. All right, and that is all to the chord progression. Nothing crazy at all. And then I went ahead and I finished it off. And then that's when I play everything by ear. Whatever sounds good to me is what I do. And I also drag the bass notes down, and voila, we're done. Now, what I have on the piano is a Chorus June 6 to give it that flingy aspect, a Valhalla Vintage Rig to give it some room, a Valhalla delay to add some delay and some character to the piano. And now here comes the real sauce. Now I added some Abbey Rhodes J37 tape stereo, the Hogger saturated slap to distort it a little bit. Then I went ahead and I added some shaper box with some panning. I added another tape recorder, but this one I'm using the colorful keys preset to make it a lot brighter. As I can see, the input is a lot higher than the output. The output is decreasing and the input is higher. And I also used a compressor to make it louder, right? And limit the distortion that is happening if it's gonna show. Well, it looks like it's not gonna show. This project is very heavy. And I also added a Chef 7, and I also added a Chef 73. Oh, there we go. So I added the compressor to limit the to limit the distortion that was happening and stuff, and not have the piano peak. Now I also have a Chef 73 just to cut out some of the low end to make the piano a little bit brighter than what it is. And if it's gonna show, all right, there we go, it showed. But I made it a little bit brighter. I cut out some of the lows, and I also boosted the highs a little bit. Now what I have for the preset of the piano is from Keyscape, and the preset is the Lonely Basement preset. I ain't do nothing to the preset. It's basic, nothing at all. And yeah, let's move on to the next topic. So next is this synth phrase, nothing crazy at all. And I got that from one of Savon's kits. And what I have on here is just a Valhalla Vintage Verb. I have it on 100% mix, and I did not mess with the low cut at all this time. Next, I also have another piano. This piano is a soft piano from Labs, and what it's doing is basically it's a layer so that I don't have the upright just playing without any substance to it, because I did cut out the lows, but I want the lows to be a little softer, so I layered it with a soft piano because it's kind of like a felt piano at the same time, right? Now it sounds like this. And with this one in particular, it's using the exact same pattern as the regular piano. I just copied and layered. For this one, I have a Valhalla Space Modulator, and that's what you guys are hearing. That's having that weird kind of effect, but I wanted it like that because I wanted it to have that sort of trap soul type feel, but not be trap soul, if you get what I'm saying. Now, without it, it sounds like this. Right? Like a regular soft piano. And with it, it sounds like this. Right? It sounds weird. And I like that. It sounded fire. Now, the preset I am using is the Hollow Flange down. And next, I have a Hollow Vintage Verb to add some room, as well as a CLA 3A, the compressor. It's never loading. Well, as well as a Valhalla delay. All right, here we go. The compressor is also limiting the space modulator and stuff, and I'm reducing the peak reduction so that it's not peaking. Now for the delay, I have it on the 1/4 time signature, and the mode, I have it on tape. Now next is this right here, and this is basically the same piano, the very first piano, right? But I have it reversing so that it can reverse into each other. Whoa, all the pianos together sound like this. And y'all may be asking, why does the piano sound like that? Well, that's because I have this tape stereo right here. And what it is doing is this right here is basically crushing it, right? It's crushing the piano and it's distorting it. Without it, it sounds a lot more full. Y'all hear? It sounds a lot more full. But I wanted the intro to be a little distorted, and it sounds fire. Right, now next I have this sound from Decent Sampler. It's a Rhodes. And with this, I added some tricks right here, some fillers. And the Rhodes is from Loner's kit, the Loner's Legacy kit. And what I have on the Rhodes is very simple. It's just some Valhalla Vintage Verb, as well as some UAD Galaxy Tape Echo, and it's the Almost Too Far preset. Now next, we have some strings from String Memorations. They sound like this. And the preset that I'm using for String Memorations is Broken Hearts. And the effects that I have on here is a Valhalla Vintage Verb. I also have another layer of strings, which is from Contact. This is the chamber strings from Spitfire. It's a lot more full, but the string memorations, it add character, right? Because it's not a simple string and it's evolving. It sounds like this, right? It rises. It's not simple, and I like that. All together, it sounds like this. Right, it sounds so fire and real, y'all. Now, next I have this pad from Scorch. It sounds like this. The name of it is the Synth Pack A Load. And what I have on here is nothing crazy at all. I have a Chorus June 6 as well as a UAD Lexicon, which is a digital reverb. And I'm using the 80s fine grain gate preset. Now next is Omnisphere. And this is a basic growler Moog bass. And I have these pads right here. And these pads are the same pads I use as always. The Luscious Airways pads, as well as the Luscious Airways wide pad. Now what I have on the pad is a Valhalla Vintage Verb, and I just pan one of them to the right. Next is this lead. What's good, y'all? Future Hardware here. And as I was editing, I realized I didn't show y'all how to make the lead, right? So how you go about making the lead is you want to set your piano roll as snap to incoming MIDI, right? And then you click snap all devices. But after that, what you do is you focus on the black keys, these black keys here. And if you have a keyboard, what you're gonna do is you basically start with whatever note you want that sounds nice to you, and then you basically glide your fingers across. You glide your fingers across, right? And that's basically how you do the whole uprising lead thing. And then you can fall back down, right? And that's basically all. And this lead right here, what I have on it is a room preset, which is from Ocean Way Studios, and I'm using the 808 Loop Room Smash just to give it some character and put it inside of a box, right? And I also have a Fruity Flangus as well as a Valhalla delay. I'm using the Ghost preset, and I'm using the 1/4 delay, the 1/4 time signature. Now I also have some panning going on, panning from left to right, as well as a Abbey Rhodes J37 to distort it a little bit. I didn't want the sound to be too clean. Now for this lead, I have it going into the reverb as well, and I have the mix lowered in the mixer track. And this is how the lead sounds. And I also added some tape noise just to give it that real sounding effect, some vinyl effects. And I have this swell I got from from Splice. And with this swell, I have a Lexicon reverb on here, the Atmosphere preset, as well as a shaper box panning from left to right. And I also added a reverse to use it as a transition. Right, and it's fire as well. Now I have this synth phrase I got from a kit. It sounds like this. And what I have on here is a Fruity Flangus, a UAD tape echo, the dark fast long preset, a shaper box to use for panning, as well as a Valhalla Vintage reverb. As y'all can see, these reverbs are controlling the game. That's how you get the space and the late night feeling, that atmospheric feeling. I also have this lead playing as well, the synth lead. And what I have on here is a UAD Lexicon, The preset I'm using is ballad vocals, as well as a Valhalla delay, the 1/4 note, and I'm using mode pitch. Now I'm using these vocals for the intro. Now what I have on here is a fruity delay 2, a fruity chorus, a Valhalla vintage verb, a fruity compressor, as well as a parametric EQ to cut out the lows, because this melody already has a lot of low end. I also have this drum pattern right here, this drum loop, to give it some bounce and some feeling. Now what I have on here is a Fruity Love filter, and I'm using the low pass 2 preset. And I have a Valhalla vintage verb. Low cut is at 490. Now as for the effects and the things that I use to make it more atmospheric, I use the waves. It sounds like this. Just something in the background, nothing crazy at all, and I lowered it all the way. Now here comes the actual sauce, the outro. With this outro, I went crazy on it. It looks very simple, and it really is, but basically what I did was I grabbed the top 4 instruments that I used and that are prominent, and I reversed them. Right after I went ahead and reversed them, I added a vocal, and together it sounds like this. I added a vocal as well as this right here, the synth art that y'all heard a little while ago. I chopped it up and I added some delay. Right, I chopped it up and I made it a lot more crazier, and it sounds like this. And the delay that I added to make it more crazy. So what I have on here is a fruity delay, delay eternal, right, just to compound effect. And I'm using the ghost preset on the fruity delay as well as the 1/4 time signature. And for the delay eternal, I'm using dual flutters and the ping pong mode, and I'm using another Valhalla delay with the pitch mode and 1/4 time signature to give it that balance so that they're attacking each other, so that it's clashing, right? That's the manual and clash that you want to hear. I wanted it to go crazy with your ear and sending the frequencies back and forth. Now I have a somatic solution here, and I'm using another delay, right? A hateful eighth preset, just so that it can sound crazy. And altogether, y'all hear what the sound like. And that's perfect. That's what I wanted, that atmospheric sound. I also added some background girls talking because this is the outro, as well as some Memphis vocals, right? Because if y'all hear Pound Cake, I was inspired with the Jay-Z sample. I was thinking about sampling a Jay-Z song, but I was like, nah, because I don't know nobody who gonna clear it. The artist I work with, I don't know anybody who gonna get it cleared. Now for this right here, I got this vocals from Splice, and the effects I have on them is a parametric EQ. I'm using the old telephone preset, as well as some KHS Bit Crush, Valhalla Vintage Verb, the Ambiance, the Drum Air preset, as well as a regular Valhalla Vintage Verb, and just to give it some reverb. The Drum Air just puts it in a box so that it sounds boxy. Now all together it sounds like this. Oh, as well as I have this pitched up right here, and I have a regular pitch, and I have the pitched up version a little lower. I also have another synth phrase, a vocal phrase. It sounds like this. And what that is basically the first one, I just reversed it, right? I consolidated this right here and I just reversed it into here. And that's all for the melody. I hope you guys enjoyed and learned something new. I'll see you guys Wednesday. And as always, I love and I appreciate y'all. And with this in particular, this melody was crazy, right? It crashed my computer a lot. So I couldn't go too in depth as much as I wanted, but I hope you guys learned something new. Right, that's the whole goal of watching the tutorials, to learn something new. So let me know what you learned down in the comments, something you knew already, something you didn't know. And yeah, I'll see you guys Wednesday. I love and I appreciate y'all, like I said before, and deuces.